While this is was about requirements by independence as well. Sometimes it's complex in some way. However, sometimes it's like rare items that are sometimes things that were taxed in order to bring past them to their sometimes it is done throughout the generation. But without I've never read on this list. We have one of the surprise things while Vikings policy is far from the either integration of Dynamax has made this action simply to activate WATs. When this policy activates, the first time the data class animals explode their offensive stats by the station. While the Vikings are effectively attacking the sound off first, their action is actions, especially if you see this here, the Dynamax operating activation of this policy, but in the scale. One of the most common in this policy is this also, what's in the recovery from the activation? These are what the attack from one to the six. Those that goes around 10% also what's Dynamax still goes on this will not only allow console once but also allow for games once that once. There are other purified where infiltration was which activates with this policy. Even they have enforced priority for regulators right. While the strategy is basically gross this policy has become a big state of doubles in its debt, allowing it to randomly create a place. Our number 7 item on today's list is the ability to use dedicated units. Dedicated units will recently introduced this gen, and they have the ability to inform passes. This item has had a wide array of controversial throughout the gen, but the overall ability is going as far as saying that the items will be banned from the altogether. The dedicated units are one item that will be 7 on today's list. The biggest is the money that's that really only has a good business. You actually have zero consider coverage of our games short points and installments. While this list isn't solely about what items you're strong to use, our other entries on today's list are not only strong persons, but they also still hold hazards, this is my first strong Pokemon is strong hysteria. But after this, this item has basically zero presence, so I can justify ranking it at number 7 on today's list.
My name is Mike Ray. I'm a film photographer and creative director based in Los Angeles. This is Outriders.
At number 6 on today's list, we have another little light. The light is an item that uses all energy by 1.2 times, and it's potentially a challenge to attack. You will only use help if you utilize or special. So, this means a concept that goes in. This item while Leftwood's 10% health cost is within your first, these Pokemon typically utilize the set of moves to the source against the but on the list of your own. And afterwards, you'll be able to knock down several Pokemon attacks until you can detect that, or maybe simply have their chance to beat themselves. Even if it's quickly 4 times, it's 1% of the health. So, even if it's with 5%, because we took out 20 Pokemon, it's absolutely important. And I was it's almost more shocking to think that we can six on the I have one of the strongest items with the original set. There is a crystal or I can settle into the so let's discuss that one. See, crystals allow the holders to steal power that as long as they hold I think I broke my gun shop and top of the window to hold this crystal. But if I had experienced one gun shop already, I can experience the on top of the window in the same match. Despite this, it's how they can presence looks the ones such a dominant item was negative, and most students typically look around this. Nearly down once with one more you already cleared several others from the wall. As the crystals would search Pokemon because you were only allowed to use one per game, one is only chance, such as for example, or social
Marketing for sure. Marketing.
I was saying that lower with not only very little drawbacks, while also looking at performance. Our number 4 is good item with choice. Choice is one of our websites. A lot of things with choice. Well, it's stacked by 1.5 times. In this case, the choice scan optimizes the skill attack by 1.5 times. The choice scan is typically utilized by players to let it go as these Pokemon are able to ensure whatever they want. It also several implements to while it may seem like a bad idea when you solve the this continually becomes one whenever partners for example, enemies in the Galarian Pokemon. By cutting the soul of the Pokemon that can take up state water types, a lot of choices have proper coverage in one of solutions in those steps. The Galarian romantic because there's room for a lot of if they handle someone who is predicting a consequence choice items are simply just every item. Maybe a good surprise next year. Coming in at number 2, we have another choice. This time, choice space. The choice space is a special one. The choice space is special attacks by 1.5 times. I just have to choice space once but mostly due to the fact that special attackers have less ways to actually affect their special offense. As their truly legitimate experience, which can also affect physical attackers or the assaults. Choice specs similarly to this band is typically best utilized on breakers. Pokemon such as Pokemon or Gengar are some of the strongest choice specs in this game. As far as the choice specs goes, you basically want to take the same approach as with the choice spec. With Gengar, for example, you can try to force your opponent to skip your Gengar or normal technique, and then attack them with the choice specs, but this last tail or take them out. Using the last abilities that is intimidating to lower special offense, choice specs used in my eyes are basically steps rather than failures. Due to the fact that these Pokemon are typically harder to stop from breaking once they get despite the terrifying offensive fighter, we still have 2 items that have managed to surpass the choice specs. which is why I ranked it as number 3 on the list.
The all-new R7, 220 horsepower, precision handling, will coat the road in 96.
Scotiabank's preferred package has unique rewards for unique people like Nina. With an annual card fee waiver for the first year, she's been able to take base lessons and unlimited interactive transfer transactions next day. Visit Scotiabank.com/preferred300. Scotiabank, the original bank.
The second item on today's list has restricted testing time, being one of the oldest held items in all of competitive Pokemon, being the leftovers. Leftovers have been around since Generation 2, allowing the holder to regain 1/16 of their health every single turn. This item has absolutely zero drawbacks. Unlike items such as the Choice Band or Rifle, for instance, where you have an actual Pokemon running. Leftovers are basically the item that throw onto a Pokemon that can either culturally in item slot 4 or aren't sure what exactly to run. Some strong features of this item though when the Pokemon is being slapped over have one. The especially benefit is the access to a way to get rid. One of the strongest upsides to Leftovers is the way it allows Pokemon, which typically lack a way to recover health after the use. For Pokemon that lack the use of the soft oil synthesis, utilizing Leftovers is the best way to actually stay healthy during the match. Despite the small increase in health and 15 each turn, this increase is a way to avoid prolonged unless experience. In this case, if you rest, they'll have an additional drawback while using it. Leftovers can be paired with the release of the attack, and allow the conditional next turn to recover some health. With how low of a risk you have running Leftovers, this item is easily in the spot at number 2. Our number 1 option on today's list is our final choice, the Choice Spark. While functioning the same way as the others, Choice Spark actually uses stat about 1.5 times, instead of an offensive stat like our previous choice items. Despite not using an offensive stat, the Choice Spark has a distinct advantage over the other options. This is due to the fact that ensuring the attack first is typically more important than three more digits. For example, if I run the Choice Band on the helmet, it doesn't matter if I can overthrow my opponent's entire team. If they are always going to go use like an experience to reduce myself. Even outside of how important speed is, Choice Band allows naturally slower Pokemon to outpace their opponent's fastest threats. For example, the Choice Spark, Random Hysteria is able to outpace the Pokemon's Discolor Shadow Ray, which has increased speed stat of 150. Choice Food is probably the easiest way to catch your opponent by surprise while requiring very little effort to be range. With this in mind, it's easy to see why the Choice Spark managed to secure number 1 on today's list. That brings us to the end of our top 10 held items. This is my personal ranking of all the held items we have access to in your channels. And if you disagree, make sure you tell us down below, as I'd love to see what you guys have come up with. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you leave a like and subscribe for more content like this, as it is the best way to show that you want to see more. Welcome back to the outro, folks, your favorite part of the video. Thank you for enjoying another just a long track to the
Educational programs are a place to find people who want to go to find the same way that you do.
Leadership, engagement, and having fun. I can't believe it's taken me 4 years to think of this best team idea. The best team to unlock a set of fun games. The idea behind Vikings. There are key factors that go into this one, such as Pokemon Guide and Encounter. Both of those can change the Nuzlocke drastically, and can alter the Pokemon you get. However, what we can do is predict and use the most common best Pokemon to our advantage. No Pokemon is guaranteed, but if the Pokemon has a high enough encounter rate, it can more than likely be found. On the off chance, though, that you don't get these high encounter rate mons, there will also be secondary or third options that we will be providing. But because we are playing Fire Red Stage 3, I hope there's going to be plenty of Pokemon built, especially with all the different Pokemon we can get. These Pokemon will definitely be very useful for our Pokemon challenges. And yes, I said Pokemon challenges because he is joining us here today. A few more things before we start. Villages, hosting tourneys, etc. You can play Nuzlocke in any way you want, Beach Squad, or Dark Squad. You can get static encounters, battles, I don't care. The Nuzlocke rules, you can do it. Because if you don't know what a Nuzlocke is in 2021, you live under a rock. This means it consists of Pokemon that are very easy to get, but are also very powerful. Basically, what this means is that we can control a Pokemon to get more or less for the best possible Nuzlocke team. This team will also be effective against the majority of the important battles in the game as well, such as the rival, gym winners, champion, Elite Four members, evil team, etc. So if the name of Pokemon of yours doesn't make it off the team, I'm sorry, it's too rare. Other than that though, I think I've pretty much covered everything, so I hope you guys enjoy this amazing Nuzlocke adventure. Starting with this Nuzlocke run of Pokemon Fire Red and Green, we have Charizard. Now some of you may be scratching your heads and wondering, Charizard isn't the best starter of Fire Red and Green, isn't it? You said it was Venusaur. Well, Nuzlocke are a tad different. See, the reason why we choose Charizard is simply due to the fact of its other typing. Charizard will have access to fly you around, and it will be a great Pokemon to have on the team. Usually we would have to capture a flyer, but with Charizard, we already have that. If Charizard dies in your Nuzlocke, Dodrio and Fearow are great secondary options just in case. Overall though, Charizard is a solid Pokemon with all around decent stats, a good stat word set, and the fly axis makes it very useful.
The Charizard is just great. Get these fire attack over get them off the broad. For the other way through it, very cool. Get a big get fire to get the root west. Some of those, the upload your upload. Yeah, break on the end. And just cover the rock side. Just in case. The last thing is really up to you. We need it.
Our next guaranteed Pokemon is Magikarp. Magikarp can be bought from a scam artist and the Pokemon Center next to Napu. Now, I am aware that Magikarp is a hard Pokemon to level up when you first get it. And in Generation 3, Gyarados really isn't seen as all that great because of their physical special scores. But the fact of the matter is, Gyarados can be attained very, very early. Once it hits level 20, you already have a fully evolved water Pokemon, and it's halfway decent. In my opinion, it's definitely not the best water Pokemon to use in Fire Red and Green. However, in a Nuzlocke case, it's not always about the best you can get, it's the best you can get at the time. Remember, Gyarados is a guaranteed mon. Another guaranteed mon you can use is obviously Lapras. But with Lapras, you have to wait until Silph, when it's accessible mid to late game. Lapras is the best to use in my opinion. But due to how early you get Magikarp and how leveled up Gyarados would be by then, I feel like getting Lapras would be a waste of time.
Gyarados is that here for things you don't play with the players. The first water set. A lot of folks get a search later on in the water set. You get nice deals to cover and sell that game for it. It's kind of free. Return is probably your best business. And the last week, the rest of every month, our last that week, you can also have rock smash, that is great. Fight, for Lapras, this is nice. You know what I'd rather do? I consider this to be a great number of games.
The first slot in our team is actually going to be shared by two Pokemon. The Dinos in the trio are the best burn-type options you can get in Fire Red and Green. Starting off with our earliest options, we have Nidoran male and female. Fire Red has a higher chance of Nidoran male appearing, and the Green has that same ratio except for Nidoran female. Both of these mons have a decent chance of appearing over on Route 3, and if you're able to capture them, your team will have a lot of power early on and for the rest of the game. I've been saying this many times. Due to how much they've made appearances over the years on my best teams, you guys know the Nido's power. There could be a chance, though, that you may miss out on the Nidos. And if you do, don't fret. Diglett is practically guaranteed in Diglett's game. Even if you run into Dugtrio, it should quantity of balls. Ziggler has a 255 catch rate, so you should be fine. Now, the Trail is a very fast Pokemon, and I'm super glad that it's the ground option in this game. This trifection roll comes with 100 base attack and 120 base speed, with magnitude and dig already built in by the time you catch it. Magnitude and dig can pretty much get you through the game with over. I'll let PC talk about teams though, because I'm getting a little too far ahead of this.
Neither people right away. It's great for open for that point in the game. The stats are pretty awful for us. You get fraction of what you do, it's pretty powerful. You can get spotting something you do, it's great. You get lots of coverage. Nice speed, substitute. But under the trio, they is your best option. Really magnitude. They get to just the same magnitude. The trio that gets rid of the 50 weapons. It's around the same time as 2 Rockside is really covered the quick and classic ground rock combos created. This is quite almost nothing in this game. In fact, the only Pokemon that really smash on is the creator, like Cradle, Flagon, but they're all you guys can see the Rockside here. Apparently, it's good coverage too.
I think it's time we got charged up, and in doing so, we decided that Jolteon would be the next member of this team. Jolteon is a guaranteed encounter, being that you can find EV on the last floor of the Celadon Mansion. Once you get the EV prepared, just get a thunderstorm from the Celadon department store, and you're good to go. Plus, Jolteon will automatically be level 25. The evolution option in this game, as a guaranteed encounter, is super useful for an Nuzlocke. I don't know how many times I've had my evolution get me out of some really tough games. If for whatever reason your Jolteon dies, then the next best option for you will be Magnemite. Magnemite has a really high encounter rate and the power play, along with a plethora of other amazing electric heads to pick from too. And yes, I will mention Zapdos, if you are playing with static encounters. Any Pokemon in the power plant is a decent replacement to Jolteon. Heck, you may even be lucky and run into Electabuzz. Electabuzz is a very rare encounter, and I would love to be lucky enough to get one for myself during Nuzlocke. But I do wonder though, what sort of amazing loophole will these electric Pokemon have?
Now, Jolteon has a plethora of moves to choose from. Wow, look at this scrolling through the full media page of all the different moves that Jolteon has. The important part is to get up that one way, really how you move. The rest of your team cover everything else. I don't know if you really need that attack. Keyword to give you some speed control and also, chapter encounters and because that does you have a good flying staff and those that pretty much you like heavy.
Gee, I wonder what our normal Pokemon's gonna be. It's not like this, you guys have talked about this thing a million times already in the past one. Those Family Guy's good series, a short jump. Yeah, I know, that guy sucks. You guys should totally just go on supplement and go sub physics today. He's better. Anywho, yeah, we'll pick the Snorlax. Fat, high HP, high attack, useful mon. That's legit all you need to know about Snorlax. It is also a static encounter that can be found twice. So realistically, if you wanted to run 2, or you accidentally put 1, you have an extra one. One can be found next to the entrance of Second Lane Road, and the other can be found south of Lavender.
Snorlax moves forward pretty crazy, doesn't want that after all. It's special attacks in that grade, but the physical coverage is good. Body time to the speed and stab attack is pretty great. And it's awesome for Pokemon like Snorlax. Probably one of the favorite for the yard off. Great is also good if you kind of want to use pretty coverage. The Shadow Ball is good solution right here. And then whatever other coverage you got, Snorlax, it doesn't really matter. Snorlax is
Now, there's a Pokemon I never thought to use on the best teams because of Trick Evolution. However, PC changed my opinion this time around. We decided to go with Kadabra as our primary option. Kadabra, despite being a non-fully evolved Pokemon, it still comes with 120 special attack and 105 speed. I forget just how good Kadabra is sometimes. What's also really special about Kadabra is that you can get a guaranteed Abra in the Celadon vehicle. You do, however, have an early chance of getting one over on Route 24. Just be prepared though, because it could teleport away. If you throw a ball and happen to catch it, then hey, good for you. For an alternative option, if Abra or Kadabra don't work out, we decided on Hypno. It isn't anywhere nearly as good as Kadabra, but it does the job. Vikings. Drowsy can be found pretty commonly over on Route 11 next to Vermilion City, or you can get a level 30 hit now in the Berry Forest, which is also a guaranteed status encounter. Bottom line, psychic Pokemon hit pretty hard in Canada, and are probably going to be your team's MVP. I know in my usual best games, I usually say Jinx, and I still stand by that fact. It's just, I wanted to try something different this time around, and you don't guarantee to get it. If you can get a color logo and get Jinx trade over to you from the NPC in Cerulean City, then more power to you.
Now, Kadabra or no, Dragon could be your best build. It's Dragon base power, Kadabra gets it to 36. Kadabra and then Sliding, they're on the list. There's not that much coverage you guys, because elemental punches are regular. You get shockwaves, home language sometimes. Something speed hit within the third, you get speed with them. All that is pretty good. The special attack is pretty good. It's all pretty good enough to Kadabra. So I'm curious, these like types don't need that much coverage. Like you're just not coming fighting types, poison types, left and right. That's going to be the goal for everything else you'll cover.
Well, shoutouts to this best team knows about Pokemon Fire Red and Green. What do you guys think? Which guys like more? Let me know down below. Also, huge shout out and thank you to Pokemon Founders for giving me a hand in creating this team and sharing your Nuzlocke knowledge. Really appreciate you being here.
Hey guys, thanks for checking out the video. I'm bad at these outros, but hey, here's the link to my channel. You can go check it out. I do really hard Nuzlocke on my channel. Go watch it. Thanks for the effort. Appreciate it. And we'll get to the video. See you guys later. Bye.
So with that said, thank you to everyone for watching the video. Huge thanks to my phenomenal team and the amazing art done complete by Dandy. Kill it!
Welcome back. Yeah. Sorry, recording and stuff. Yeah, today is the first series. We're Delta Emerald. Racing. Yeah, this is the show. This is Delta, and I think we've never played this game. I don't know if I did. Get on the wall. For those of you that don't know, essentially this game is Emerald is big and thing. Normally the storyline is similar or the best but then they added everything for the Nexus 7, so the native and all that, as well as Pokemon called Double. So it's not that. That's who I was gonna pick. I asked this to pick him. Well, let's just see problem I had with Pokemon Evolution Uranium in the past is like, very cool. But just after a certain point, it becomes frustrating and not really good stuff from people that is not really cool. I don't know. I would have to do this. Biggest fan of the couple. Very good. Very good. It's okay. It's okay.
It's easy to say you've got this with a TV Unlimited checking account. On the TGI Spend app, you can track spending and savings goals. Get started with a TV Unlimited checking account. You can get $300.
Alright, so certainly a lot of discussion last night. During the live stream, when Austin Matthews was revealed to have won both Edward Award and the Hardwood. And there were certainly discussions about Hart Trophy winners before. We're here again. The argument being that Connor McDavid somehow was overlooked or didn't get proper consideration. He was a finalist for this award though. So I'm going to talk about Matthews here. Now, Austin Matthews, of course, in the lottery winning pick for the Toronto Maple Leafs in 2016. That's right in line with when the channel started to blow up. So I really appreciate the relationship that Austin Matthews had with the channel. I've never spoken to him. So he's the number one pick in 2016. That's surprising. He comes out of the gate with a 4-goal game to start things off, and looked fantastic in that one. So 2016, 2017, he ended up with 82 games. His 40 goals were second in the NHL that year, 29 to 69 points. I'm not going to go through this like a career video because it's not really a career video. I just wanted to prove that stuff. He did have 4 goals in 6 games in that first round loss against the Washington Capitals. He was Calder. He was on the All-Rookie team, and he was at the All-Star game. Those were the All-Star game in 2018, the All-Star game in 2019. Those years, he missed a lot of games. I missed 20 and 2017, 2018, and 14, 2019. And the question I asked at the time was, is this going to be a player who deals with injury a lot? And 2019, 2020, played almost every week. 70 was almost every game for Toronto that year. We didn't have a universal number of games played by teams that year, so 70 sounds pretty close to how many Toronto played. Might have been all of them. But he finished third in the NHL in goals that year with 47, and he was ninth in points with 2. So he's been getting better year over year. And then you look at last year, 52 games played. He was first in goals with 41, and fifth in points with 66. Now the argument that was made that year was, well, yeah, Matthews was BC on Team KC Canada. Once we're back into a normal season, there's no way Matthews is going to lead the league in goals. And so he did. He led the league in goals this year with 60. His points total, 106 points. That was 6th overall in the NHL. So he dropped from 5th to 6th in overall scoring. in 125 games played over the last 2 years. Now, the thing with that, second team All-Star last year, never really first or second team this year, I don't think. I would imagine he'll probably be, I'm going to be controversial and say he gets to be the second team All-Star and then McDavid as the first team. But he won the Rocket to start this year, he won the Rocket to start last year. He was the second team All-Star, as I said last year, definitely a play. Second time I put it up. So again, the Hart, the Wind, the Rocket to start, All-Star game. This is the other argument should be made in this video. Matthews in 6 years has already put together a career that if he came out tomorrow and said, no, I think I'd enjoy retiring to British Columbia and becoming a lumberjack. I have to say that as crazy as that would be, as much as all of us sing along with him, he already has, I think, arguably, if it opens an argument, a Hall of Fame career. This hard throw, there's 2 Rocket stars you want to call it. He's done all the hard work he needs already, I think, for a Hall of Fame career. The same argument I can make about won so much, they've got cups and all that. That is the one thing with that he doesn't have. And that's when you get into the question of going to Matthew's fault. So one of the arguments with that is that the Leafs lose in the first round. The thing is, these are regular season awards. So because they're voted on in the regular season, and there's always that debate, I've had a debate myself about whether or not the vote should be taken after the first round, which most fans seem to disagree with. They say, no, it's the regular season. And the one thing I'll disagree with is people think, well, the regular season doesn't matter. 16 teams missed the playoffs this year, so the regular season matters for those 16 teams in the rankings. The regular season truly does matter. All 32 teams make the playoffs, and we have the awards after the playoffs are done. So he led the NHL in even strength goals this year, and he's done it for 3 straight years. But it's not just his goal scoring. So while he led the NHL in shots the last 2 years, he had 4 hat tricks this season, which was number 1 overall in the NHL. He also had 62 block shots. His takeaway versus giveaway, he had 92 takeaways and 48 giveaways. That is an excellent ratio. Really fantastic ratio for him. And he had a career high in face-off percentage at 56.2%. So people get hung up on goals and points and all that, but I think the reason that players vote for the best all-around player, the reason that he went to the Hart as he is his all-around team. So it is easy to focus on points that Connor McDavid this year. He gave 44 goals, 7 assists, and 26 points. He had 17 more points than on the match. But it's not just regarding points, right? So, he was first star of the month in February 2021, April 2021, December 2021. First star of the week 5 times, second star of the week 4 times, and third star of the week once in his entire career. So he's always one of the better players in the league. And he was suspended 2 games this year for the prospect on goal. He clearly did not have any negative impact on anybody home or against him or anything. So you wonder, like, if the suspension would cause any change voting. Marner was second on the team with 35 goals. He was also second on the team with 97 points. One thing that you can look at with the Leafs is that Matthews has 60 goals and then Marner with 35. That's a 25 goals difference between the number 1 goal scorer and number 2. Now, when you talk about Connor McDavid, to get into your point, you also have to look at goals and the fact that Draisaitl almost paced him at points and outpaced him. So that's something you have to look at, because one of the things you're looking at for MVP, and this is why MVP is highly subjective, if this team didn't have this player, they're dead, right? That's the whole idea. The idea is this. If the Toronto Maple Leafs don't have Austin Matthews, they're done.
Welcome to your 20-minute high-intensity workout. Pick up your cadence, regulate your breathing. Get ready for a climb, let's go. Okay, push on the flats. You're gonna go right.
And I think there's definitely something to that, and we can have that debate and make sure that we roll on into next season as well. But if McDavid got hurt, it absolutely ruins a lot of Edmonton Oilers fans' days, and probably the days of the Edmonton Oilers players. So then you have Draisaitl as number 1 center. You have Ryan Hopkins as your number 2 center. It's not offense. It's not the end of the world. Whereas the Leafs didn't have Matthews. We know we've had a discussion regarding that for years, and I do wonder if it was hurt the Leafs more than it was Matthews, than it was hurt the Oilers. You look at the Oilers this year, they go all the way to the conference final. In part, I think the reason that they go further than the Leafs, or I will say they did play against Tampa in the first round, that played to help. But also, I think that for the Oilers, I think that as a team, they were able to tap into what they needed to have that success against LA and then against Calgary before running into a machine and Colorado Avalanche. But it really is a situation where it feels like the Oilers would be more capable of handling that loss in the Now, England goals, Matthews had 10, the next highest total on the league with Nylander with 7. His ice time was 20 minutes and 37 seconds. He only trailed Marner on forward in 20 minutes and 15 seconds. That Marner, I believe, killed penalty, whereas Matthews doesn't. So that is likely why that ice time has been where it is. Which is an argument for, I think Marner's underrated at this point on some level. So I know how much it is. So if we're going to talk about McDavid and Cohen, well, he won the Ted Lindsay 3 times, 2017, 2018, and 2021. He won the Hart twice, 2017 and 2021. He's going to win again. We know that Connor McDavid is fantastic. We know that he's going to win it again. And it's not the first time we've seen a winner for the Hart where there's a lot of arguing. The two most obvious to me are Taylor Hall in 2018, when Taylor Hall won it. And then in 2002, Jose Taylor winning the Hart. Jose Taylor had a career here. It was there for the ages 2001, 2002. And so he ends up winning the Hart Trophy. And then just find that way to follow that up with another really good team. He was a good goaltender. But that season where he won the Hart and got rated the bar a little bit too high, a little bit higher than Theodore could reach again. So, really, I don't think it should be that controversial when it comes to Matthews being seen as the league MVP here by writers. He's seen as the best player in the league by the players who vote on the Player of the Award. But I understand why people would look at it and go, well, wait, it's McDavid. McDavid's the best player in the league. I will harken back to when Wayne Gretzky and Mario Lemieux both started from David Steele and Elm Lindsay too. And there were years that they had a ton of points that you could make the argument that maybe somebody else in the league could have or should have won. The Hart Award, the Aston Heisman, the Pearson Award, the King Award, the award now. So the argument's out there, but again, I looked through Ted Lindsay winners. There's not really a lot of controversy when it comes to winners. It tells me there's less argument when it's the players voting and the writers voting. But that's just my opinion. You guys want to know your thoughts in the comment section below. And I'm going to close everything. If Matthews played for Florida, if Matthews played for Arizona, right?
Mark's store-wide sale is on now. Visit marksportmarks.com.
Life's busy, so I need products that can keep up. My fancy conditioner has a new formula.
Alright, so we're closing this away looking at Colorado. If you can, come in. Good place to go west. Get ready to talk about starting tomorrow. I'll be doing these natural division first. Last, but so Colorado Avalanche, don't we have chance? One of the few times they'll be able to do this is the Colorado woman, or Ottawa woman got to do so it's like a pretty good yeah, so defending Stanley Cup champions for the first time in a long time. They've never won 2 in a row. But if they have a chance this year, they're still facing. The top odds from plus 400. That is the best odds in the league. But they have definitely. So I want to go through the lots of first. And there are none bigger than National Academy. As people debate, there's a lot of the number 2 centers. Like, I understand he had a career year. I get it. But even before that career year, he was an excellent number 2 center and was for Colorado. start in Kemper. Now, Colorado was one of those teams that won the Stanley Cup, not because of their goaltending. I don't look at any round and say Kemper or Francois were the reason that Colorado won. They have confident goaltending. Losing Kemper, they then bring in Georgiev, and likely figure that will offset the loss of Kemper. Dan Johnson out, so there's some depth on the blue line. Andre Burakovsky might be one of those three. Burakovsky is pretty good at 35, back in 7, 23 playoffs as well, and so, yeah, for Burakovsky, he goes to Seattle, and we'll see what they do to mitigate those losses. Tampa Bay likely showed in 2021 that they can handle some losses, so they can see where they were the season before when the Stanley Cup in the state of Colorado was the same. Defensive there. Nicholas Obey-Cabell, of course, now Maple Leaf. Obey-Cabell was a healthy scratch in 23 playoffs, and then it's been wide. Obey-Cabell is a player that he's one of the working in Colorado, so hopefully he can get it going. And Nico Terms was brought in at the red line as a rental, and that's where that's supposed to be. New faces, so Alexander Georgiev, and I guess Lucas Sedlak, really, and I say that because they signed him and brought him in, so I think they're going to play him. But really, the interesting thing is going to be what we get is Racer candidates. Racer candidates I have from Colorado, a lower Byron, is not even projected to be the top 4 of the league, as well as Alex Newhook. Now, Newhook could end up being the guy who replaces Kevin. He's going to be another synthetic this year. Jason Crawford filled in well enough when Kadri was out for Colorado during the playoffs. So, again, they may be able to approach these losses and was really quite good by the end of the playoffs. So we'll see how the defense shakes down and hit with it. The Canada net, Alexander Georgiev, Pavel Francois, I consider a fan of both goaltenders, so we'll see how they work together. Georgiev's coming off a bit of a deficit statistically, but I think if he plays more regularly, I think he'll really himself. But again, this is his first opportunity really to maybe get started on it. Francois is pretty solid. Well, that's just useful Francois. So down the middle, they're pretty solid. Nathan McKinnon, Jason Comfort, Alex Newhook, and Aaron Helm. Again, North Catherine, that's what we got some more time. I don't see any reason not to agree with what they put out there. And it's just their depth down the middle, how everything turns out. Their top 4 defense, Devon Hayes, Cale Makar, Daniel Gerard, John Sanson, of course, Gerard got hurt going on in the playoffs. He wasn't able to be a major part of that Stanley Cup win. I think that's why whenever there's been talk of trade and whatever else might happen, that Gerard thing comes up more often than not. I think the fire of not projected to be the top 4, I think Greg is the top 4 defense. So it's possible to win them out on the category. In order to do that, maybe a little bit of a weakness in that forward season again. Newhook makes that jump. It might be a minimal drop. For 5 years building up to this Stanley Cup, 2017, 2018, after that's the 2016, 2017 make that in 43, 39, and 10 to go more. 2018, 2019, 32, 10 to go 4, 16 goals again, and then got first round up there and over job again. 2019, 2020 is when we start to see the Arsenal. What we did out of the second round really dropped it down. They were 42, 20 in second, 4th and goals down. They had problems getting them the second round, as they did in 2020, 2021. So, first it was Dallas in 2020, then the Vegas in 2021. They finished 39, 13, and 4 in 2021. They were first in goal, 4 and 3rd in goal. And President's Trophy, so they'll finish.
Stay in touch with your money like it's your BFF. Be smart with your money and get the constant scoop with CIBC Insights. CIBC Smart Everyday Banking. Carla's such a special person. Bring her time. She'll be there to push down some of those barriers to entry.
question, so this is the thing. The Sailors win a Stanley Cup final, so this is last night's food. It is not that outside the realm of possibility that a team wins the Stanley Cup after they won that trophy. So they win it, they go 56, 19, and 7, second in the overall standings, and 4.5 that's right. They finished third goal, 4 and 7 goals again. And this was the team that was favored to win the Stanley Cup right out of the gate. And then they had a run month over there for the World Cup. It was 1-4 in October, and it was 20 yeah, you Colorado was overrated. Colorado, they're not that good. They're really not that expected to get off to a slow start. People didn't think he was playing on the Taylor and that's not good and what's happening. And then 11 months what they had in January didn't happen when they went home. So that silenced a lot of critics. The channel vote pretty good. 27,000 plus votes on the House of Representatives. 92% of the internet for successful on the entertainment side, from vote 91%. That's the first perspective. Third or fourth, 6% on the main channel, 33% on the back end channel. Fifth and 6%, both channels, 1% voted that way. 7th or 8%, home channel, 2%, and on the top channel, and 4% below either Arizona, Chicago, or both. That's not going to happen. So although we're saying that the 92% on one channel and the 94% on the other, we have the top 4 division. That's not bad. And again, if Canadians who are in the again, the idea is to try to bring that cash in. Now they can have together. Yeah, that's not fans will find out on that. There might be a pressure to find out. So, and I talked about the move on fire. I like both those players. I think it's about the but absolutely win that type of and you're not going to take anything for that cash in because the players who want to production standpoint, I doubt it's going to work out pretty well. So it's important here at Gagnon, top line coach. I've already done that to have Hall of Fame consideration. And Joe Sakic, who has to have extra Hall of Fame consideration. This is the GM. And he's in the Hall of Fame as a player, but yeah, as a GM, he's been fantastic. Silenced me pretty quick about 6 years ago. And yeah, he's done a really, really good job. So we were involved in probably around another 36. So you're going 41 for it. They have a lot of that support. Randy has been called by Canada for people. It was Canada that had been denied. But Carr had to get through. They only found here arguably the best player. And I think that's player enough. Best defenseman, I do. I think the best defenseman is Carr. Although part of it is also get there, I don't know. So we're supposed to be preparing next we're workable team, and of course, but that's just me. How it plays, they went 24%. There is no one around the gap. So, firing contact with the system he's not going anywhere. He can't go anywhere, right? He has to stay in Colorado. We'll take this now. The sooner they get him signed, the less we have to have that discussion. Okay, let's get it through. Jason Cropper is up for Andrew Congliano here with the players Lucas Deadline and Eric Johnson, number 6 defenseman of the this offseason. That is what happened. So, back after that, and if they reward it in final game, but I think Colorado's in a good spot to go to the champions, but they're going to to have to overcome a lot of the I think a lot of the things were in that. I think the fact that the goaltending wasn't what about the Stanley Cup you're getting that sort of second. But yeah, that long goal up front as a World Cup, there's going to be something in there. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below.
Yankees are recommending 50 cents. At the Arts and Restaurant. Remember that?
Hey, the break room. Don't go away, Marco.
Who's Marco? Marco.
And I think that's part of what it is that, you know, it's kind of a team that has some future prospects that look pretty good. They have some current players who are very good, but what is the overall general feeling, the direction they're headed, and yeah, we'll see what happens. They were in the league in 2017-2018. They won the President's Trophy, and that was after the Vikings Stanley Cup Finals in 2017. So they look pretty good. They were 15 and 11. Seventh in goals for and second in goals again. So again, the numbers for Nashville were very good. 2018-2019, they pulled back a bit. 47, 29, and 6 in regular season. 19th in goals for and third in goals again. But in that first round series against the Dallas Stars, the goaltending was a little bit here. They won by the big second. So 2019-2020, they pulled back. 35, 26, and 8. When I say pull back, I mean they didn't qualify. They lost the qualifying round against Arizona. They were 17th in goals for and goals against. So it's a prevalent sign set. Now 2020, 2021, playing only within the division, of course, they finished 31, 22. They had a pretty good season. They were 20th in goals for though, so that's their lowest season amongst goals for and 19 goals against. So the goals against got better. This past season, they were 45, 30, and 7, so 97 point season, and that's the thing. They're good. Nobody will say the Nationals not a good team. They were 12th in goals for and 16th in goals against. So a little bit above average in goals scored, right around average in goals against. But that's the thing. You want to see a team building towards the Stanley Cup. And I don't know what Nashville, if that's what they're doing. The ages from this team, nobody, the big stat here. There was concern for purposes that did re-sign this team. So they trade out those tenants. David Brennick, his contract expired after betting. Also out. But they didn't lose anybody maybe, right? So there's no reason to think this could be a huge drop-off, unless you think that like here the Patrick Kane has had, he's not going to be able to replicate, which I would understand if he's doing that way. But the new faces coming in, there's going to be some different things. If you're starting with Gino Niederreiter, 20 goals for him. And at worst, he's maybe a 12 goal scorer. He will add points, he will add goals. I would say minimum 30 points, probably up to 50 if he has a really good year and he really clicks with his line mates in Nashville. You have John Leonard, that's who picked up from 5 years ago. You have Ryan McDonough, one of the best under the radar pickups. The Tampa Bay Lightning needed to make cap space, and McDonough is sacrificed for that. That was the reason why when Abraham announced the when they announced he was going to be exposed for Seattle State, I was like, maybe it makes sense for Tampa with McDonough. I didn't like that, but here we are a year later, and McDonough is now national property because, they have the cap space that Tampa Bay does not. Kevin Lankinen's been added. I think Lankinen, he had a rough year in Chicago, but he didn't. There are very few players we can argue had really good years for Chicago. I would say Patrick Kane, Alex DeBrincat, Dylan Strome at points, and maybe Caleb Jones, right? Outside of that, there were a lot of challenges in Chicago. So Lankinen's looking for a bit of a bounce back. And for Nashville, I think we're looking for more nights off than Sarah. There wasn't enough nights off. I talked about that during the regular season. I think it factors into goaltenders getting hurt. He obviously was hurt during the first round series against Colorado. And as much as they were cloak and dagger about when he might come back and he might be declared fourth, he knew he wasn't coming back in that series. Especially how quickly it's over. They've also added Zach Sanford, which is some depth up front. So their tandem in that will be UC Saros and Kevin Langton. Unless Connor Ingram comes in and wins that job, I think he'll be given an opportunity. And there's a possibility if they try sending Ingram down, that's a clear way that maybe somebody will fix him up. But Langton and Saros, I think that's decent. And again, Langton, and I've been a fan of since before he was playing for the Chicago Blackhawks, and he's really good this year. Down the middle is where you're going to have your debate when it comes to national president. One comment that has been out there for me, it feels like it's been forever that this team has been seeking that real bona fide number one center, that forward that can drive the play, and it has it on the way. Shane, good example. Forsberg, another example. That Arvidsson, which can drive the offense, but he's on the way as well. Down the middle, that's Michael Gramler, good passer, but you see that in number one center. I don't see that. Brian Johansson got a really, pretty expensive contract, but in general, I don't think Johansson is that bona fide number one center. Colton Sisson. And then according to Cap Friendly on their depth chart, they have Cody Glass as the number 4 center. Cody Glass has not yet shown he can stay in the National League. I would love to see that change. Maybe this is the year, maybe he is the option on the fourth line. But my guess is that Nashville probably somebody else that fourth line position to get one.
Advance your career part-time in your own time. BCIT has over 1,000 part-time courses, in person or online. Register now at bcit.ca/PTS. BCIT, part-time studies for a complex world.
Your guests in the comment section below, as always. Best month, December, 7-2-1. Very good month in December for Nashville. Their worst month was February. They played fewer games. They were 3-5 though during that month. So that's statistically the worst month when it comes to win-loss records. The Nationals pretty consistently good, and again, it's about good, fine, and their attack is good, the goaltending's good. Where's that greatness? The greatness may very well be on the blue line, so we'll come to that. One talk about the channel vote first. First or second place on the Hockey Guy channel, 6% voted for Nashville as the first or second place, 7% for the Entertainment Guy. Entertainment Guy also 61% for the third or fourth position, and 53% on the Hockey Guy channel. Fifth or sixth place in the division, 30% of the Hockey channel, 27% of the vote of the Entertainment Guy channel. As of fifth or sixth, seventh or eighth. So fans that don't understand Arizona and Chicago exist, 3% on the Hockey channel, 5% on the Entertainment Guy out of 993 votes, as compared with the more than 10,000 votes on the Hockey Guy channel. So for Nashville, they're right in the middle. And how in the middle are they? Plus 3,500 according to OddsShark, which I think is 15. So yeah, right around the middle. Again, their cap space, according to Cap Friendly right now, $2,394,699. So for Nashville, they have some cap space, but this has been the thing trying to bring that in. We've gone through this in other off-seasons where Nashville had their eyes on some big name free agents with that money, and they weren't able to attract them. Their top four on the blue line, though, this is a pretty good blue line. I'm understating it, and on purpose. Roman Josi, good defenseman, excellent season. He looked like he was locked for 100 points. He doesn't get there, but 96 is still pretty darn good. Dante Favreau, underrated defenseman, plays in Nashville. Nashville, we've always had one or two really good defensemen, and then other guys get overshadowed because they're playing them. Matthias Ekholm, Alexander Carrier is another example of a defenseman, young defenseman, great. They protected in the expansion draft. They're going to be a really smart move on their part, and I love Ekholm. And keep in mind, they added Ryan McDonough. I have the top four on the blue line. Probably gets that tie though. Probably, when we look at the ice time, he'll probably get top four ice time. But yeah, this is a ridiculously talented blue line. Borowiecki there for the Sandpapers to be the number 6 or the number 7, I guess, this year. But yeah, this is going to be tough to watch. Breakers candidates, I went with Philip Tomasino, who had a very good rookie year, I thought. With rookies, I don't worry as much about the points and goals. Are they progressing? Are they doing well? And I thought he did. And Ellie Coleman might be his last chance at having a big breakthrough. So I thought, sure, even though his goals and points per game dropped with that season, why not Coleman and maybe he gets that time? He's a player that but the GM believes in him, we'll see how it goes. Of course, joining David Boyle as the coach of the team is John Hines. He's still there. Remember when John Hines was hired? There was a lot of last year, but he's still there. And as long as Nashville's in the playoff spot, I think John Hines keeps his job. I don't think the expectation is, tremendously long playoffs and big long run like 2017. But staying in contention, and that's where that comes back. That split is where there are fans who want to see a team always trying to go towards the Stanley Cup, and then there's fans who are like, as long as they can playoffs, they have a chance. So there's that divided. Their leader in goals this past season, Matthew Shane's career year, 43 goals, absolutely fantastic. Color Force for 22. And if he's able to play healthy for a point, Forsberg could absolutely hit 50 goals. Roman Jones, 73. Don't rule out a 100-point season, but don't rule out a fallback either. Maybe, but he's still really good for a defenseman. Michael Brandler with 53 assists. He's also playing on the top line here. Their specialty, 24%. Well, 24.4% of the power play, 79.2% of the penalty kill. Specialties have been significant for Nashville at certain points in time over the last few years. Really worked out well this past year. The power play is pretty good. Penalty kill a little bit lower than the average, but not hurting them that much. So expiring contract, something interesting too, because there's nothing huge on it. Michael McCarron, Mark Vormietsky. McCarron, of course, fourth line, dating, fifth line, and last, NHL. Vormietsky, then I think he's Kelly Lincoln and Zach Sands. And Brian both with contracts expiring this year. So Nashville's in this position where they've got everybody signed. They've got a pretty good core, but then they have a tough player. And that's the question mark, and I really think that's why we've seen the confidence in their front office and growth. I think it's just that every year for Nashville, they're pretty good. Getting their playoff team is pretty good. And then that's kind of where it is. So it's 50 years that we see them turning around and get that postseason success. Not necessarily 2017 level, but something better than what we've seen in recent seasons. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. As always, this channel have a rate for the overly optimistic and the overly pessimistic. Let me know your thoughts on that too. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you're browsing with free down in the video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support, and I'll talk to you again. That is absolutely brutal. The worst. Things must be permanently paused. No items except hell items in battle. Particle blood levels are limited to the next gym leader or elite force ace. And finally, the battle mode must be put on set at all times. The Electrotype is definitely a cool one and black to and white to with all the Pokemon on screen available. But since we don't play with legendaries, Thundurus and Zekrom aren't viable options. And Stunfisk is also only available in the post game. Whatever will we do without Stunfisk? No, seriously, a first ground type would be very helpful. Finally, since Electivire is only available through Trait Evolution and we're not allowed to connect any other games, we'll be stuck with Electabuzz there. Electrotypes on the whole are quite speedy and quite powerful, however they are definitely quite frail as well, so I can already foresee some major challenges we might face. When it comes to this run, I can't help but remember our good old Sharkino named Neo from our Emerald Shark only run who tragically got KO'd. If only we had a more reliable water shark that had no problem with electric types. I searched the land far and wide, or ocean I suppose, and finally found one in Surfshark VPN, who have made today's video possible. Surfshark is a virtual private network that keeps you and your data safe by encrypting all of the information sent between your device and the internet so that no big companies or cyber criminals can get your personal data or invade your privacy. Since Surfshark does this by changing your location and IP address in everyone else's eyes, this means you can also bypass players and streaming services from other countries. A good example of this is Netflix, which infamously has a ton of different shows and movies only available in certain countries. Being from Canada myself, I normally can't get access to one of my personal favorites, the Die Hard series, and my friends in the US can't watch The Office, for example, but Surfshark has made these possible among many other things. I was blown away by how incredibly easy and fast to use it is, taking just 1 or 2 clicks upon startup and maybe 5 seconds to connect. You can also set your favorite locations, choose between several locations within many countries themselves, and also use the multi-hop feature, which connects you to 2 countries for extra protection if you're on public Wi-Fi, for instance, which is usually easy pickings for hackers. Those are all things I haven't seen from other VPNs. But there's another reason you should choose Surfshark. They've partnered with them to bring you 83% off plus 3 extra months for free with our very own promo code SILK. That is a ridiculous discount. You can also use one account on an unlimited number of devices, and there's a 30-day money-back guarantee, so there's no risk in trying it out. Make sure to click the link in the description below and use code SILK and unlock the true power and security of your internet. Thanks again to Surfshark for sponsoring this video, and let's get into the run. For our starter, I decided to pick Snivy so that our rival chooses Pepe, as him having Oshawott would just be unfair to him. After getting some Pokeballs, the Nuzlocke rules officially start, meaning it's time to find our first encounter. Luckily, in Black 2 and White 2, there are electric types available early on, as in most games, including Black and White, electric types are quite hard to come by until about the mid-game or so. Our first encounter is found in Flossessi Ranch, where... okay, come on, it's not just me, right? Right? Marie is found here, so we catch one and nickname it Cleopatra. Cleopatra has a calm nature, plus special defense and minus attack, which isn't bad at all. Once we deposit Snivy, it's time to train this thing up, and the funny thing is that other Marie actually give special attacking needs, so this is the perfect place to train it in addition to the side-ups. With Cleopatra at level 8, it's time to take on our rival. Since we have the static ability, it's a bit of a hard decision whether or not to Thunder Wave off the bat, since his first tackle could very well paralyze him, and then we could miss out on a free turn of damage. So I decided to spam Thundershock, and somehow, despite Thundershock and Static having a chance to paralyze, it never happened. But he only takes us down to 12 HP before we can KO him. With that, it's time to head back to Aspertia City to take on our first gym.
Power is nothing without the mind to control it. A king is not crowned.
Since we only have Marie, it was actually incredibly difficult to stay under the level cap, but we make it just a minute of time to share it. He starts with a Patrat, and I decide to go for Thundershock right away, which does a bit less than half. He goes for workup to increase his attack, and I decide to go for Tackle here to avoid bringing him into potion range before we get my Tackle to 22 HP and can kick him out on the next turn. His second and final Pokemon is Lillipup, which outspeeds and goes for workup right away. I hit him with Thundershock, and it does about a third. His tackle brings us to just 6 HP, but we get the static paralysis right before our Oran Berry heals us. Thankfully, Alder gave us 5 Oran Berries, but we're still within KO range regardless. Our Thundershock brings us down to a third, and then on the next turn, due to paralysis, we outspeed and can take him out. Whew. This battle took 3 entire restarts of the game, called the White, in order to pull off successfully. It's a weird situation since all we have is Marie, which evolves slightly after the level cap, and we just cannot possibly win unless we have luck with paralysis. After the gym, Bianca gives us the TM for return, which should prove useful once we have Pokemon that actually like us. On our way to Burbank City, Cleopatra finally evolves into a Flappy, which thankfully gives us some more ball and power. In Burbank, we run into this dude who trades